Game. Are we good? Kia ora koutou, welcome to my show for the girls. My name is Lauren Sheree Whiteman. I'm all the way from Utah, United States, Salt Lake City to be precise. I started dancing when I was 3. My mother put me in a ballet class and really haven't stopped doing anything like that since. I fell in love with dance, and it's taken me all over the world at this point, even all over my own country. And I'm excited to share the stories of 5 women who have helped me come from little tiny Lauren to Lauren you see now. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show, try to have some fun, but not too much fun. My mother and I fought a lot as a teenager. She was religious, you see, and she raised me that way. Her expectations of me started building on me through the years. I used to be super devout, don't get me wrong. I was one of those kids that was annotating their scriptures. I know, imagine that. But as I started growing up, I realized how much my career in this art form meant to me. And she just made it known that she wanted different things. She wanted me to go on a mission. She wanted me to marry a man in the temple and have 7 babies and the whole lot. She wanted to be a grandmother, of course. And so as we started fighting more and more and my sister got sick, the rift between us started growing wider and wider and wider. And eventually I just couldn't take it anymore and I moved out. I thought my father's house would be an escape, a refuge, but it turned out to be quite the nightmare. Between his girlfriend, the chaos, no groceries, no support. I ran away from home at 17. And I felt quite alone without either of my parents. I didn't know what to do. So most days I just eventually, I ended up getting a scholarship to college, much to my surprise, and I'm sure at the time my parents as well. I'd quite given up on life. But nonetheless, even with our fighting and our bickering and some of the worst nights of my life, my mom still managed to help me through college, financially, emotionally, mentally. She was there through it all. She even came to some of my shows, even as I was 3 hours away from her. And when my father wasn't there for me, she always stepped in. And it was beautiful. And I love her for that. Her unconditional love and support showed me that I should always just lead with my heart. And I should always step into any version of myself or into life with open arms. And that love, no matter what, especially from a mother's standpoint, prioritizes her child. Eventually, when I came home from summer camp this past year, I even had the courage to come out to her. And as our relationship grew, I began to open up to her more. I began to tell her things about my life, something I had never done before because I had felt so guilty and held a lot of shame for who I was as a person, because in the past, she was disappointed. But I'm proud to say that we've both come a far way and we're trying to understand each other more than ever now. And I love my mom. And I wouldn't have been here without her. Wouldn't have been New Plymouth, New Zealand, and I for sure wouldn't have graduated university without her. Well, my mom always wanted me to be a ballerina, so. I'd just gotten out of ballet class, and there's this woman. She has this giant blonde hair and this crazy look in her eye, and she pulls me aside and she says, "I need you to audition for my ballet ensemble teams." And I'm, oh, of course, okay. Thanks for talking to me. And I leave. Her energy was very, very intense, especially after getting out of ballet class. So I go to the audition, do the week-long intensive, everything that's required of me. And not only did I make the team, I made the elite team, the top performing team with girls older than me and better than me. And I couldn't believe it. And that woman with the giant blonde hair and the crazy look in her eye, her name is Kaylin. And she was not my first ballet teacher and not my last, but she was certainly one of my most influential. She always wore this tiny pink skirt with her black t-shirt and her ballet clogs, with her black tights, of course. And her hair always puffed up and frizzy and it was probably because she had so many ideas in here that she had to store some of them in her hair. But I'll never forget how much she believed in us. She put ideas in my head of all these dance companies I had never heard of and things I could do with my life that I had never even considered. She had traveled the world dancing and made me believe that I could do the same. She was so passionate, and I'll never forget her. She loved all of her students. She even choreographed an entire ballet on us. I got a solo. We were all fairies in an enchanted forest. I'll never forget Kaylin. She was kind of like a second mom. Tears, blood, and sweat, nothing was missed in that studio. There were a lot of days where we doubted ourselves and Kaylin doubted herself. She would ask, "Girls, is this choreography even good? Am I doing anything right? Are you guys learning anything?" And we'd say, "Kaylin, what are you talking about? Why would you even ask such a question? We love you. We love your choreography. We love working with you." Not only did she teach me to dance, but she taught me to choreograph and lead my own classroom. And seeing such a strong, powerful woman doubt herself was sad. But despite that, Delusion, if directed correctly. It's just passion, guided and nurtured. I'm in my last year of university. I'm moving with this guy. His name's Jake. Found him on Facebook Marketplace. Total gamble. He was 32 years old. He was the coolest guy I've ever met. He reminds me of you, Farley. Geek. Really, really, really incredibly smart. And we'd go climbing all the time. He loved climbing. He was like the older brother I never had. One time we went climbing with him and his friend. I can't remember his name. But he brought along this girlfriend of his. Her name was Laura. And man, if you guys think I'm insane, you should meet Laura. She's always doing something louder than I am, just blah! You know, if there was any word to describe Laura, it would be more like a sound effect, just because of the hurricane of energy she summons within her and in those around her. She's always cooking, she was always doing projects, doing yoga, going on a run, going to work, looking for a new job, yada yada yada. I could hardly keep up with her. But she was so cool. She was a few years older than me. She had already graduated. But man, I looked up to her so much. She was one of my closest girlfriends. She had never been jealous of me either, which I loved. But the cool thing about Laura is she told me all these stories of her faraway travels. She had gone to Mexico and Peru and was hitchhiking alone and doing ayahuasca in the jungle and not having, any phone connection for weeks and weeks. And it was the best time of her life. She was volunteering, she helped people, and she became a better person. And her Spanish got better too, which I was super inspired by. I had never learned a different language. So, I guess the thing that I take away from Laura, besides her traveling and her energy and her excitement in her life, was just how herself she was and how committed to a process she could get. She would look at one thing and not stop chasing it until it was hers. For instance, she got this paddleboarding testing job where she'd go blow up a paddleboard and then go to the lake and test it and then write a long review. And she got the job over people who had master's degrees just because her cover letter was so good. So she showed me that as long as you just attack things and you hype yourself up, like, you can do pretty much anything you want. With discretion, of course, and in the right context, but Laura was so cool. And I became a better climber because of it, too. Reaching up and up. Until you get to the top. And see the landscape. You feel like you're on top of the world. And it's just you. In the South Island of New Zealand, and I'm living in Golden Bay. I drive up the coast and find this town called Collingwood. I look into their museum. It's tiny. It's like a shack in a hallway. But I walk to the back and I see this book, and all it says is Nita Roslin. I'm like, okay, I have to check this out. It's about a woman in the 1930s. She cycled the whole world. She was always wearing red. People thought she was a man or a communist just because they couldn't understand her behavior. She was an odd character for the time, sleeping in her room with her bicycle, and she always had breakfast delivered to the door so she could have all her private time. But the thing that really stood out to me about Nita was that as she was traveling, in each country she would put on a show to support herself. She would pull over to the side of the road and sing, and people would come and watch her and give her a little coin, and she would have food for the day and a place to sleep in the night. Eventually, she actually became very well known, and people started offering their houses to her so she could stay the night and rest. She wrote about days where she had no food or water, and she was biking up hills or just exhausted because she had been on the road for so long. But people always took her in, and her passion helped her survive. And so that's kind of what I want to do. Instead of wearing red, I'll just wear green. last character of the night, well, her name's Biddy. I met her while I was driving down Route 6 on the South Island towards the West Coast. I was now living in my van. I found her on this plaque in a campsite in this tiny little gold mining town named Lyle. She was just sitting there, a woman probably this tall, looking like this. I was like, oh my God, what is her story? So I'm reading an immigrant from Ireland. She was originally working over in Australia with the men in the gold mines. And she came over to New Zealand later because there was more gold over here or something. And she was awesome and strong. And she could do the job just as well as the men. And all she needed were some simple groceries, strong whiskey, and a little tobacco. And that's it. Now mind you, this was back in the 1830s. And she was strong and she kept up with those boys and she worked hard enough that eventually she got to retire. And she died at the age of 86, which is awesome for back then. Most people didn't live past their 50s or 60s. But she had made it all the way to 86 just because she worked hard and really didn't give a damn about what people thought about her. And she lived simply. She's super cool. I carry her in my heart because, well, she's just a hard worker. And she worked in a man's environment, which is something us women gotta do a lot of the days. So, thanks, Biddy.
Take a breath that's true. I look to you and I see nothing. I look to you to see the truth. You live your life, you go in shadow. You'll come apart, you'll go blind. Some kind of night into your darkness. Colors your eyes with what's not there. Fade into you.
All of these women have shaped me and have helped me come stand in this exact spot today, talking to you. My mother, Kaylin, Laura, Nita, Biddy, some of these women I haven't even met before.
I think it's strange.
They stuck with me. And their stories and their encouragement, their passion, their love have all made me the woman I am today. And I can't thank them enough. And I know that somehow in some strange other world, they're here in spirit. And so are the women that have helped you.
A stranger's
They're here.
light comes on.
They've helped you in so many ways that maybe we don't even know yet.
A stranger's heart without a home. You put your hands your head. Then its smiles cover your radiant hue. Strange, never knew. Radiant hue. I think it's strange.
But my story is just one of many. In the end,
I think
we're all
it's
connected,
strange.
and everyone's stories
Never knew.
are special unto their own. I encourage you today to think about the women who have helped you through your journey in life, and pick yourself up at the end of the day and say, this passion, this love that exists inside me, it can lead me forward. We can take our stories and build our way into a future that helps all women and all men and all non-gender conforming people. I'd like to thank you for coming to the show tonight. It means a lot to me. And maybe, just maybe, call a friend, call your mom, call your grandma, call your auntie, call someone that's helped you sit in this exact spot where you are tonight. Thank you. Yeah! Epic. That was good. I didn't think I'd get the timing right.
You were really good on timing. 29